Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is essentially helping insurance companies screw over people living in the state of Florida. Now, in this case, it has to do with potential lawsuits that could be filed against insurance companies. And there was a law that insurance companies didn't like in the state of Florida because it messed with their profits. So Ron DeSantis urged lawmakers in the state to hold a special session to do away with those regulations. Now, what am I talking about? Well, here's what happened. DeSantis, again, recently urged state lawmakers to hold a special 3-day session in order to rewrite the state's property insurance laws, okay? Now, the revisions massively favored the insurance companies.
Of course.
And it had to do with what's referred to as the one-way attorney fee. Now, when it comes to suing an insurance company, obviously we all understand that insurers have almost unlimited resources. They're incredibly wealthy, and if you are an ordinary American who has been wronged by an insurance company and you want to take them to court, you do not have the same resources. It is a lopsided situation. So the law that they got rid of in the state of Texas was the law that essentially had the insurance companies pay for the attorney fees for the individual bringing forth the lawsuit.
Yeah, all right, so the reason you have that law, and it's a complicated law, it's actually nuanced. Oh no, nuance, don't do it, Cenk, we're gonna do that later. But the reason you need it is, otherwise, they're just gonna deny your claims and they'll be like, okay, good luck, go hire a lawyer for a couple $100,000. Well, nobody's got that kind of money. So like, oh, I guess we're not gonna be sued for anything, and now we'll deny all of your claims, or as much as we can possibly do. And here DeSantis has urged, and by the way, he's pushing other Republicans. Now, Republican state legislatures are normally super conservative, and DeSantis is saying, not enough, I need more corruption. So it's Christmas for donors down in Florida, and he's calling a special session to hand out gifts to the donors that have given to him previously. So I appreciate their little secret Santa club that we're gonna bust up right here.
So let's talk about how the law, which they have now done away with, worked, right? Because, I mean, look, I think it would be a legitimate concern that if you know the insurer would be liable for your lawyer's fees, for your attorney fees, that might attract all sorts of frivolous lawsuits, right? Because what do you have to lose? But the law specifically indicated that if you bring a suit against the property insurer and you win that lawsuit, in that case, the insurer pays your attorney fees. So there is, or there was, I should say, a deterrent in place to prevent ridiculous, meritless lawsuits. Now, again, the insurance companies didn't like that because A, they want to make it incredibly difficult for you to take them to court should they refuse to pay a claim, and B, if they are in the wrong and you do succeed in suing them and the judge rules in your favor or the jury rules in your favor, well, then on top of having to pay you for damages, the insurance company will also have to pay for your attorney fees. They don't like that. That cuts into their profits, and it also holds them accountable should they be screwing over their own clients by refusing to provide coverage or payment for the claims that they have made, right? And this is something that's gonna have a larger impact on the insurance industry in Florida, because if this is something that's now impacting insurance companies for properties, it's also going to impact health insurance companies because they're gonna see this and say, well, what about us?
Of course.
What about us?
100%, this is a total giveaway. Guys, look, here's the nuance. If you get your attorney's fees paid, are you more likely to file a lawsuit? Sure, okay. Will there be some frivolous lawsuits in there? Probably, right? But again, Anna makes a great point. If you lose, you're gonna have to pay your own fees, so that limits frivolous lawsuits from going out of control, okay? So I understand the need for bottling up frivolous lawsuits if it's gonna like drive you into unsustainability and you're gonna lose the company, you're gonna lose all those jobs, etc. Now, you don't wanna, the people that are mainly leading this is Allstate, okay? Now,
great commercials, but bad behavior.
Yes, now do you wanna know how much, how on the precipice Allstate is? I mean, they don't pass this law, I don't know if they could stay in business. Over the last 3 years, they made $12 billion in profit.
I mean,
perfectly great
how
shape.
will they survive?
Okay.
Right, but you have Republican lawmakers in the state of Florida lying to their own constituents about how, look, this this law, we got to do away with it because it's actually leading to higher premiums, higher prices for all Floridians as a result of these costly lawsuits. But that's just not true. One of the state lawmakers who says that is Republican State Senator Jim Boyd, who himself is also an insurance agent. So, no conflict of interest there, I'm sure.
No, not at all. Just like Joe Manchin, just the fact that he made $5 million from his own coal company did not affect Joe Manchin at all. Because all of these politicians are angels, both on the Democratic side and the Republican side. But by the way, almost everyone in the country believes that insanity, depending on whether they listen to Fox News, MSNBC, or CNN. No, my guys are angels. Oh, Ron DeSantis, what a great guy. No, it's not because he took money from these guys, bribes basically from these guys, and is selling you out so that you'll have to pay more and be in worse shape and not be protected. He's an angel, Fox News viewers say. And on the Democratic side, if you watch MSNBC, they kiss the ass of every corporate Democrat that does the same exact thing.
Okay, so let me again emphasize, because I know you referenced this, but it's really important for you guys to understand really how the sausage is made, right? Is Ron DeSantis doing this? Are the state lawmakers doing this simply because they despise their constituents? I mean, maybe, but that's not the main driver here. The main driver is the money that's influencing them. That's the main factor. So for instance, Ron DeSantis alone, right? The governor who urged the special session in order to do away with these regulations pertaining to the insurance companies, received $700,000 in campaign contributions from insurance agencies during the 2022 midterms alone. Okay, one election cycle. I bet that's a
wild coincidence. One
election cycle, that's all it takes.
But Anna, I know Jacobin covered this, but I'm sure ABC News was just kissing DeSantis's ass, and I just mentioned them out of all the mainstream media does. Like they hit Trump. When it comes to DeSantis, what a wonderful, amazing governor, right? Let alone Fox News, I mean the lies. All right, now look guys, important thing about the actual law itself. It's meant to protect you guys. And yes, it could have a downside if you, for example, paid for attorney's fees no matter whether you won or lost, then you'd have 1,000 frivolous lawsuits, right? But here, if you had a healthy market, that would be another like actual competitive market, capitalism. That would be another way to limit this problem, but we don't have that. We have oligopolies. So that's why when they say, hey, you know what? Allstate can now basically screw over their customers. Theoretically, in a free market, other insurance companies would go, well, we're not going to screw over our customers. We're actually going to pay the insurance. But that doesn't happen. They all work in concert. They all move at the same time. Oh, we can all screw over our customers? And the government's gonna let us get away with it? So they all move the goalposts to that. Now the funniest part was something that Anna mentioned a little while back. They say, no, we have to do this reform. It's not about us politicians who got $700,000 in bribes. It's not about Allstate who's gonna make billions more. No, it's because we want the premiums to be lower. Okay, mark my words, write it down in stone. There's no way in the world Allstate or any of those companies are gonna move down their premiums, not 1 cent. You know why? Because they already know that you will pay this price. You think they're voluntarily going to move the price down and go, you know what, let's share some of the proceeds that we got from the corrupt governor with our customers. They will share none of the proceeds.
Stock buybacks, dividends for investors, that is what they will do with the extra money that they make as a result of the now deregulation that has taken place in the state of Florida. And by the way, that's the most relevant part of the deregulation here, but the new deregulation includes other provisions, including stripping consumers of their right to transfer their claims under a policy to someone else who might actually have more resources to pursue the lawsuit. So it completely does away with any power or any protection that the consumer may have against an insurance company screwing them over in the state of Florida. That is what just happened in the state of Florida under the leadership of Ron DeSantis.
So last thing here, if you see any politician, almost generically on any issue, but certainly on this one in Florida, if you live in Florida and you see a Republican or a Democrat tell you that they got to do this because then it will lead to the insurance companies out of the goodness of their heart to lower prices for you, know that you are looking at an unbelievable piece of crap liar, okay? Those politicians are deeply corrupt. You'll never hear that in mainstream media or right-wing media. They'll pretend that these are good guys, they're not. Basically, this is Ron DeSantis telling Allstate, don't worry, now that you bribed me to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're in good hands.